It all kicked off with a shoebox in it, not some mad fancy thing, just one worn box tucked in a dusty storage unit behind a crusty old gate in Windermere. You know the type man would stash fishing rods or a rusty spade there, but this man, nah fam, he had something else cooking. Every few nights, calm as you like, man pulled up solo, no headlights, no tunes, no chat. Man stepped out, popped the boot, and grabbed that same box, always that same dead looking shoebox, edges mashed up. Cops clocked it from early, but they ain't jumped straight in. Nah, they waited, watched, bided their time, because what came next, bruv, it weren't small. That little shoebox opened the gates to madness, kilos on kilos, worth tens of million coke, moving across ends from Windermere to Mandy, Essex, all the way to Dubai. Quiet thing, patterned like a factory line, but in the shadows. When the boys finally swooped, they grabbed over 350 keys and 9 different mandem, plus one top shotter hiding out in Dubai. This was Operation Matrix, and it all started with one box in a dusty yard, you get me? Welcome to Ends Unshanked, where we bring the streets into focus and strip the shine off the shadows. If you're here for the real, not the remix, hit that subscribe, smash a like, and ride with us. These ain't just cases, fam. They're the blueprint behind the chaos we live through. Back in March 2022, Cumbria feds got wind of something light. Man called Respawns 31, living low-key in Bowness on Windermere. Word on road, he was moving coke. No tools, no aggro, not even a flash whip. But still, something was off in it, so feds started watching him close. That's when the routine showed face. Late night moves, always solo. No talking, no linking up. Just him, heading straight to one tiny unit stashed behind an industrial yard. Dark, quiet corner, looked dead to the world, but it weren't the yard that spun heads. It was the shoebox. Every time man brought it or took it, same box, worn, familiar. It was clockwork, blood. That's when feds dropped covert cams, hidden, silent, and boom, confirmation. Inside the shoebox, not no kicks, not weed, straight bricks of cocaine, tightly wrapped, kilo weight. This weren't no cat on a corner, this was big food. That little lockup became the heartbeat. Ground zero, Barnes ran his ting quiet, kept it moving, ounces flying round Cumbria, but the real weight stayed parked just meters from man's gaff. When feds burst in, packages everywhere, scales, bags, tools of the trade, and at his yard, they found a ledger, bruv, full on numbers, hundreds of thousands. He was moving way more than he could ever flip alone. That's what had detectives shook. No chains, no insta stunts, just clean, calculated movement, heavyweight hustle, organized, serious. That's when it got upgraded. They called in the Northwest Regional Organized Crime Unit. This weren't small fry no more. Operation Matrix was live. Barnes wasn't grabbing bits from round the corner. He had plugins, real ones. Someone out there was feeding him weight, so they flipped the script, started tracing it backwards. Turns out Barnes kept linking one old head. Yeah, not in town centers, not car parks. Nah, quiet lanes, deep Cheshire, places with no CCTV, no nosy neighbors. You know the type of road where even your sat-nav gets lost. The man, Stephen Stockel, 62, Weaverham, certified OCG fam. Dumb bird before for importing nearly £2 million worth of heroin. Old school connect, back on road, back in motion. They clocked the link-ups. Barnes would bring a bag, Stockel would bring his. Straight exchanges, one way, tens of thousands in cash. Other way, kilo blocks, each one 30,000. No chat, no vibes, just a nod. Box swap, man gone. 3rd February 2023, officers moved slick, pulled Stockel on the M56, found 40 gram in the whip. Light, yeah, but when they raided his yard, more food, more baggies, and a ledger full of moves. One entry stood out, linked to multiple keys. He was still active, and worse, man was on license, blood, moving reckless. But here's the thing, Stockel getting nicked, that left a hole. Barnes's main line was done out. So what did man do? Fold? Nah fam, man leveled up. Instead of slowing down, he reached higher, tapped into bigger players, wider routes, more efficient teams, and that's when Manchester stepped in. You'll see the name Barbie floating around, but hold tight, we'll come back to her. Now these new names, They weren't the ones carrying bags or making drops. They moved info, not product. Who's got the work? Who's paying? Who can be trusted? Scott Owen, 33. Daryl Preston, 36. One in Manchester, one in Atherton. Tobias, ghosts, no paper trail, no pics. But in the encrypted world, they were architects, fam. Feds tracked the digital dust, logs, movement, chat history. Then boom, they traced Owen jetting between UK and Portugal. Regular ting. Word is he was liaising with overseas suppliers, keeping routes patterned. May 2023, man landed back from Portugal, snatched straight off the tarmac. Preston, nabbed days later, more low-key, stayed local, but played the same role. Coppers pieced it up, messages, patterns, orders. Neither of them touched coke, but prosecutors made it loud and clear. They orchestrated the supply of tens, maybe hundreds of keys, behind-the-scenes movers. The network ran through them. They weren't just plugged in, they were the plug. Once them man got lifted, yeah, the whole line broke down. They took out the ones running point, the comm spine in it. But by then, too late. Couple drops already landed. Some were still en route, flying down motorways like nothing happened. One of those moves led straight to the busiest runner in the game. Caught in broad daylight, fam. 22 keys in the boot, plus 30k cash under the seat. Madness. Every network needs legs, yeah? Operation Matrix had proper drivers, trusted ones. Man them paid to zip lips, move product, no questions, no delays. Kane Turner, 32 from Hindley Green, Manchester, one of the hardest working out there, no cap. Man ran coke like a shift, day and night. 4th of February 2023, man dropped off a kilo straight to respawns, you get me? Same box, same drill. Minutes later, boom, feds pounced. Barnes got gripped with that exact kilo, shoebox beside him like always. Didn't take long for them to spin back for Turner. Couple hours after Barnes got cuffed, they pulled Turner on the motorway, cracked open the whip, 22 kilos, 30,000 pounds in notes, all under the front seat, and that weren't even his first rodeo. Nah, blood, he'd been running big loads for time. When the dust settled, cops confirmed man had moved over 100 kilos, street value 13 million pounds. Mad. Meanwhile, down south, another whip was making the same trip. 11th May 2023, Anthony Warhurst, 58, got stopped on the motorway in Essex. He just scooped up 50 keys of coke straight from Harwich Port, part of a Dutch shipment. Bricks were stashed beneath the boot lining. Destination, Manchester safe houses. This weren't his first run either, but it was his last. Cops then clocked another supply route, bubbling on the side. Skelmersdale, Lancashire. Michael Evans, 36, tried to do a drop in Cardiff. In it, rolled down from the northwest to South Wales. Man thought it was sweet. Feds intercepted the whip, found 7 kilos of coke sitting clean in the boot. Turns out, orders came from a Portugal-based crew handling UK drops from afar. Evans held his hands up, pled guilty, got 6 years. Couple weeks later, Thomas Whitaker, 42, got bagged near his yard in Skelmersdale. Feds found a nearby motor with 600 grams of coke hidden deep inside a custom compartment. All these drivers, different styles, same goal, keep it moving, fast, quiet, no mess. But behind them, there was another level, blood, not just roadmen or middlemen. These lot were orchestrating the whole ting port to postcode, Dubai to UK. The bricks didn't just appear in Windermere or Manny, they got shipped from abroad, heavy systems in play, coppers tracked it back. Coke was coming from the Netherlands, then through southern UK ports, Harwich and Essex mostly, and them drivers, they weren't blind. Every move patterned through encrypted apps, no names, no voices, just postcodes, times, tokens, pin drops, confirm the link, drop the load. The main organizers, Andrew Stevens, 41 from Goulburn, and Simon Buller, 45 from Atherton. Cops called them the logistics generals in it. They ran the map, told drivers where to go, sent them to scoop big shipments, tucked in hidden panels, boot linings, you name it. Then drivers shot it straight up north, Manchester hubs. But yo, they weren't the top dogs. Behind Stevens and Buller, international hitters, Dubai and Portugal based, but we'll get to them in a bit. By May 2023, the operation size was crystal clear. 11th of May, same day Warhurst got stopped. Feds dropped the bomb, £6 million worth of coke, fresh off the port. Man got nicked right there on the road. Digging deeper, cops found messages flying between UK and overseas HQs, encrypted, straight to the point, location pins, short codes, phrases, phones wiped regular, routes changed daily, but after months, police mapped the whole thing, Dutch ports to safe flats in Manchester, and Stevens, done out here, arrested with the full layout traced, but guess what? He weren't alone running things at the top, someone else was active, out in Dubai, different level, this one was on the books, counting stacks, checking profit, logging every kilo. The scale didn't start on UK soil, this was a global thing, 2 major hubs ran the show, Portugal and Dubai, both out of reach, cartel bosses stayed protected, no touch, man in the UK weren't winging it, they followed direct orders, pushed through encrypted chats from thousands of miles away. Portugal, that was the command center. They told drivers when to roll, where to land, who was collecting, confirmation codes, postcodes, token words, all timed perfect. Miss a drop, they'd shift it, cancel it, real quick, everything stayed tight and silent. But the real boss moves came from Dubai. They watched the profits, the stock, the runners, not just hiding out, running the whole show, blood. And yo, it weren't just man them pulling strings. One key player, a woman, name Magdalena Sadlow. On road they called her Barbie, but we'll get into her story proper in a bit. What's important, there was one final sweep, and this one didn't just rattle the team. Nah fam, it collapsed the whole empire, finished it. By early 2024, the whole thing was crumbling, fam. Barnes was locked, the drivers, off-road, the brokers, the movers, the middlemen, all caged. But Operation Matrix still weren't done, you get me? Couple links still live. The stash spots, the cut-in houses, the final strongholds. Cops clocked 2 names. Gary Gittins, 43, Wigan. Mark Knowles, 41, Atherton. Gittins let his yard get used like a warehouse, bruv. Real talk, 175 kilos of coke moved through his gaff. That's £17 5 mil street value. When feds hit him in Feb 2024, they found £28,000 worth of cannabis and a whole bag of cutting powder. Man was prepping weight. Knowles, same game. 3 separate drops. Total 77 kilos of cocaine. All linked straight back to his flat. Cops went through his phone. Bare pics of sealed bricks. Stacked clean. Ready to shift. When they nicked him with Gittins, they found more than just gear. Packaging stuff. Burner trails. And digital links to some serious players. But that's not the maddest part. February 2024, yeah, Magdalena Sadlow, the one they call Barbie, dropped off 33 kilos straight from Harwich to Knowles' flat. Turner picked it up, spread it across the northwest. One of them bricks ended up with Barnes, same one they found in Windermere. By then, Sadlow had already cut, gone clear of the UK, but her name wouldn't stop popping up. Courier logs, payment sheets, encrypted chats. At first, she looked like just a background ting, but now she was front and center, blood. They called her Barbie, but Magdalena Sadlow weren't just another name. She came in from Holland, Feb 2024, carrying 33 kilos on her, made the drop in Atherton. Turner moved it from there. 1 kilo ended up back with Barnes. By the time it hit the news, she was long gone, but her name kept spinning in routes, in ledgers, in encrypted servers. She weren't no runner. She wasn't a mule, she was managing the books. When she flew back in from Abu Dhabi, Border Force was waiting in it. Nabbed her at Heathrow, nearly 200k in dirty assets on her, plus 2 designer watches worth more than most people's flats. But the loudest evidence, her phone showed she'd helped shift 600 kilos of coke, 70 kilos of weed, 96 kilos of ket. Messages were tight, detailed, patterned. She tracked profit, checked stock, mapped deliveries, down to the last pound. She wasn't loud, she wasn't reckless, but the network trusted her, called her the financial director. Embedded, dangerous, silent. Her arrest closed the loop, fam. She was the link between the UK team and the overseas suppliers. The Bridge, the last chapter, started in March 2024, Carlisle Crown Court. That's when the final charges landed. The scale, nuts. A tight, multi-layered enterprise. Tons of cocaine moving through drivers, dealers, and data runners. Evidence, phone logs, CCTV, DMs, bank drops, burners, everything linked tight. No room to argue. Most of them folded early, took guilty pleas. The few who tried to fight it lost. The court called the evidence overwhelming. The judge, Nicholas Barker, didn't mince it. He said, an Amazon-style delivery model for Class A drugs. No care for victims, just numbers, just profit, just power. Final sentences. Reese Barnes, 12 years. Scott Owen, 14 years, 6 months. Daryl Preston, 11 years, 6 months. Both moved big product from behind. Encrypted chats. Kane Turner, 8 years, 8 months. All 4 were drivers, clean, cold, efficient. Stephen Stockel, the supplier, 12 years. Andrew Stevens, the UK organizer, 20 years. Simon Buller, still waiting to be sentenced, but it's not looking good, blood. Gary Gittins, 7 years, 6 months. Mark Knowles, 4 years, 10 months. Ran the last safe houses. And Magdalena Sadlow, aka Barbie, 14 years flat. The accountant of a whole cartel. Together, this crew built one of the coldest, tightest, and deepest drug networks the UK's ever seen. Operation Matrix, name given by the Northwest Regional Organised Crime Unit, exposed how deep the game ran. Encrypted, international, unstoppable till it wasn't. What do you lot think, how the whole thing went down and how the courts handed out justice? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and if you're feeling this breakdown, subscribe, hit that bell. There's always another case coming. Stay tapped in.